Hey guys, this is Heather from healthyveganrecipes.net. So it's summer around here, it's getting pretty hot. One of my favorite vegetables to have when it's hot out is a jicama. If you have not seen it before, this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a big potato. And it's great for getting some complex carbohydrates for energy, but it's also really light tasting, and you can do it raw so it doesn't involve any turning on the stove or hot food in your mouth, so it's fantastic. But what I really like to do with it is grate it up and get it with some other really tasty vegetables, because if you just like peeled this and took a bite out of it, it would taste pretty starchy and it wouldn't taste very good. So what I'm going to do is take the outside off of my jicama and then grate it. So peeling a jicama is not the same as other vegetables. The skin is really thick, so you have to do it with a knife. Sometimes you can get it started and then peel it off like this. But just get all of that peel off and you see that it's white on the inside. All right, so I've got it peeled and cut in quarters, and you can see it's really solid inside. Now I'm gonna grate it, which I would normally do in my food processor, but I don't have it with me, so I'm gonna be grating this by hand, which is not my favorite job. So I'm gonna do that and then come back to you so you don't have to bear through the boringness with me. Oh, and for anyone who wants to skip ahead to the recipe, that'll be posted over at healthyveganrecipes.net. You can check it out there. Normally when I'm grating, to get me through it, I eat the ends of whatever I'm grating. Jicama, like I said, a little starchy. I made it! My one arm is really sore. I think I need to learn how to grate with the other hand. Left-handed grating. Otherwise I'm gonna wind up with massive muscles on this one side. Okay, so when I'm making jicama, I usually underestimate how much it makes, because that one jicama grated up all this. I've got some carrot grated in the bottom as well. And then to this, I'm going to add some apple. Now you could grate your apple as well, but in order to get some different texture in this salad, I'm going to chop it into small bite-sized pieces. Okay, so throw your apples in the bowl, and then I'm gonna add some fresh parsley and fresh mint, because they both add a huge amount of nutrients and flavor. The mint especially is so nice in a fresh summer salad. If you're lucky enough to be able to pick it from your yard, you can pick it fresh. Otherwise, if you're keeping fresh herbs in the fridge, put them in a little glass or vase of fresh water. Trim off the bottoms of the stems so that they can absorb the water, and they will stay fresh much longer. Okay, last things into my salad, I'm gonna add some slivered almonds for crunch and for some healthy whole food fats, and some raisins for a little bit of extra sweetness. You can kind of think of this like a coleslaw if you want to. And I'm making this kind of on the sweet side, so raisins will be nice. Dried cranberries would also be awesome, but I couldn't find any. All I could find were craisins, which are cranberry flavored raisins that have oil and sugar added to them. So I didn't want to do that. Okay, so you're gonna toss your salad together, and then we'll make a dressing. And what I'm gonna make for a dressing is a tahini-based dressing, which I have made several versions of before, but I'm gonna make a really simple and slightly sweet one today that's kind of like a coleslaw dressing. So what I'm gonna do is start with some tahini, which is just ground up sesame seeds. So if you can't find tahini where you live, you could try making your own if you have a food processor or a blender that is powerful enough. Or you can use any other type of nut or seed butter you can find. So I have in my grocery store, there's sunflower seed butter, almond butter, cashew butter, you know, all kinds of different types of nut or seed butters. If you don't have any of those, you can use peanut butter. Just make sure when you're buying it that all it says on the ingredients is dry roasted peanuts. No added salt, no added sugar, no added oil. Those things aren't what you want in your nut butter. And then what I added to it was some balsamic vinegar. You could also use apple cider vinegar, that would be lovely. And then I have a really special addition, which is some apple butter, which is basically like applesauce, but it's been cooked longer so that the flavor is concentrated and it gets really, really dark and flavorful. But you can also use applesauce if you prefer, or if you can't find any apple butter. And if you don't even have any applesauce, you could just blend up an apple. Maybe take the skin off so that it's not as chunky, but it'll get the same flavor. So get that all into a bowl and then mix it up. Or you can put this in a little single serving blender if you want. It's gonna be really, really thick. So you can add some water to thin it out if you like. Well, actually mine is really thick because I'm using apple butter, which is thicker than applesauce. If you're using applesauce, it might be thinner. And if you have them on hand, a little bit of maple syrup and Dijon mustard is phenomenal in this dressing. I don't have any right now, and I'm traveling, so I don't really want to buy a whole jar of it in order to make a salad dressing, but if I had it, they would totally be going in this. So mix it up until it's smooth. Add some water if you want to thin it out. So get your dressing onto your salad and then give it a toss. Sometimes I like to hold a little bit of dressing back because there's always a little bit at the bottom that doesn't get too coated in yummy dressing. I also find when I'm making jicama that I tend to underestimate the amount of dressing that I need because it's a huge bowl of vegetables, and that jicama likes to soak up the dressing a little bit. So what I do is, as I'm tossing it, I kind of rub it into the jicama and make sure that there aren't any big chunks that don't have any dressing. And sometimes, yes, I do throw it on the floor. So after cooking, I always make sure I clean it up. All right, so that's looking pretty nicely tossed. Time to try a little bit. Yummy. Now the cool thing about jicama is that the longer it sits with this dressing, the more it's gonna soften up and not be as starchy. So it's still a little bit starchy right now, but as it sits, it's gonna mellow and it's gonna taste even better. Okay, for serving, what you can do is put it onto a plate of fresh greens. You could have it on its own. It makes a great side or main salad. So you can put it on a plate on top of some greens, or I set one aside to show you that you can make it into like a lettuce wrap. Perfect for that. Lots of flavor, lots of crunch. Looks pretty, right? Okay, so there you go. I'm dropping more on the floor. I hope you enjoy that and make it for a nice hot summer afternoon. It's perfect salad for that. Again, you can find the recipe over at healthyveganrecipes.net. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you next time.